Welcome everybody to One Stage at a Time, the podcast where we're playing through video games one stage at a time, not skipping a single level. Right now we've just begun our journey through Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the PlayStation 1, the original PlayStation. We've gone through the prologue and we are now at the entrance where we get to meet Alucard, our protagonist. My name is Aaron Neeson. I'm joined by Andy Prim. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
And we are joined by Sam Ingersoll. Hello, Sam.
Hey.
Gentlemen, let's talk about Castlevania.
Well, here we are again, folks. Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the PlayStation from 1997. And today we're talking about the first real stage of the game, sort of. The entrance. That's right, the entrance. Couldn't ask for a more exciting stage than that. So last time we played through the prologue. So we were Richter Belmont last time. But now we're getting to the real fucking part of the game. We are now Alucard. We start off charging through this forest like nobody's business, busting into Dracula's castle. What did you guys think of the entrance? You know, as an opener, maybe kind of like a tutorial stage almost. There's some interesting stuff that happens here. But what did we think of it? Yeah, did you like it?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty badass intro to your character, you know, like what better way to have him fucking bum rushing the enemy castle at warp speed through the trees, which was a great sequence. Like all those like trees passing by was freaking cool, and just tear assing through everything in his path at the very beginning. Pretty cool. Yeah, I dug it. I was all about it.
The intro establishes one important thing about Alucard in this game is that this guy fucks. That's what it does. You're like zipping through. You're like bitch slapping giant werewolves. Everything's dying. You're not even stopping. Hopping. Oh, you got a moat. Fuck you. You leap right over that bitch.
Yeah, dude. Hell yes.
Right and right into death itself. And you're like, go fuck yourself, Death. Like,
yeah, you just tell Death to fuck off. It's so good.
One too many steps there.
Yeah, you're a little too big for your britches right there at that point. You overstepped yourself.
Yeah, you bit off more than you could chew, perhaps. Mm-hmm. One thing that bothers me is that Alucard never runs this fast throughout the whole rest of the game. Like if he could run that fast the whole time, this game would have been a lot easier.
Yeah, you know, I kept on trying to sprint, and I was like, wait, Richter could sprint. Why can't I sprint with Alucard? This is bullshit. I just saw him going really fucking fast. Why can't I do that again?
Alucard's real power is the shimmy, the Alucard shimmy.
Yeah.
Where if you hit triangle, you'll backdash, but you can just spam the fuck out of it. So you gotta train yourself to turn around the other way you want to go and spam triangle to just start shimmying through to success.
Mm-hmm.
There was one thing that was kind of fun. I haven't played this in a while, but I've played it a lot, and a lot of the old muscle memory was still there. The shimmying. There's even a certain cadence to attacking enemies where you can do like a hop forward, but immediately kind of pull back after you attack, and you can kind of get out of their range and like hop in and out. So all this stuff I forgot I used to do all the time, this kind of came back to me, which was kind of nice.
It's like riding a bike, baby, slaying the creatures of the night. It's just like riding a bike. I hope that you guys are prepared to hear Alucard like just going ha 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 as you backdash. It's like Doomguy humping the wall. That's just the sound you'll hear all the time as you backdash through this entire game.
Well, I don't think I'll like that. I much prefer looking cool. That looked really stupid. I'm not going to be doing that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, all right. So Death takes all my shit. Like I'm not going to look like a dork, like running through, shimmying my way through this game.
Well,
no
let's talk about that because Sam and I have played this game before, but Aaron, this is your first time through. Were you shocked and dismayed that Death, the Grim Reaper himself, appeared and stole all of your equipment?
I was surprised that Death did it. Like that was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised that you get severely powered down immediately because, you know, you're kicking ass. Like just you're eating lunch, eating all these like wargs, giant wolf monster lunches. like it's no big deal whatsoever. So I was like, okay, I don't think this is gonna last, and then it didn't. But again, yeah, just spitting in Death's eye. That's kind of a
Yeah, dude, it's
and Death
fucking
being
tight.
like,
You didn't say the magic word.
yeah.
Yeah, Death was trying to steal the embryos from Jurassic Park, just like Wayne Knight. Death is played by Wayne Knight. I would do a Wayne Knight impression here, but I don't think I know how to do that. But if you just imagine me pretending to be Wayne Knight and pretending to be Death from this game, it's probably pretty funny. And you can think
Hello,
about that. You can laugh.
Alucard.
The Fat Grim Reaper is in my mind now, and that's hilarious.
I'm in a mailman's outfit. Yeah.
Yeah. Just the worst mailman ever. Not only stealing mail like Newman, but just killing everyone that he delivers mail to.
But not on purpose, and he's sad.
Yeah, he feels bad about it because he's in love with Elaine.
Terrible mailman, but a great death. What are you gonna do?
So we'll be meeting Death again, believe it or not, but not for quite a while. But Death is like a Castlevania staple. He's Dracula's best buddy and closest compadre. I believe he appeared in the very first Castlevania game and has showed up in basically everyone since then. Just about. He's even the final boss of at least one of them. But usually he's like the second last boss, or one of the close to the end type bosses. So, but yeah, he appears here just to kind of taunt Alucard, steal all your equipment. You had the nice Alucard set of equipment, the sword, the shield, the boots, the so on and so forth. Really nice stuff to have, but unfortunately it's all gone now. And we're naked. We're naked Alucard from this point on.
That would have been a bold choice, like to actually have like full dong out, like Alucard going to get his equipment back.
Yeah.
His pubic hair is shaped like a bat.
Depending on what equipment you equip, it changes color.
I was gonna say, like, I just imagine he's just completely hairless, like not a bit of stubble on the man.
he is kind of a Bishonen, as Sam alluded to last episode.
I mean, I've seen the Netflix show. I've seen him get down, and I did not. To the best of my recollection, it's been a while now. I don't remember a single solitary chest hair or nothing on him.
That's true. He is a pale elfin boy in that Netflix show.
Good show, which we should talk about at some point. But not now.
Dude, yes, I feel like we're going to talk about that a lot because that show is fucking sick.
Mm-hmm.
But let's save that for a little bit later because there's a few more things to say about the entrance here. We've been looking at a video of it, but it's unfortunately not very long. But I do kind of like the backgrounds here. Like it's kind of like a purplish background and like stairs for most of it. But at the beginning, after you run through the forest, you go through this room that's like all dark when you walk into it. You can see windows and there's some parallax scrolling with like stuff in the background.
That's the thing that they do. That's really nice touch in this game is all the parallaxing is done really well.
I love that stuff, man. Anytime I'm playing a 2D game, I'm just like walking back and forth, just watching the parallax scrolling.
There was like a few years, like early PlayStation 1 era and like in Sega CD or Saturn, sorry, where they were just doing like 2D as hard as they could.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the things they just kind of figured out on. Well, I guess not really kind of, but like all the things like the Super Nintendo was doing just to the nth degree, and it was like slightly better like resolution and everything. It's kind of nice little piece, little road stop. And
for
before
sure.
things went crazy with 3D.
Because there's certainly SNES games and Genesis games that had some nice parallax scrolling. You had as many as 4 layers of parallax scrolling. But, PlayStation obviously can handle a lot more than that. So it's a lot more detailed and sophisticated. So it's cool, man. It's like the natural evolution of that 2D style.
Mm-hmm.
This room, the dark room with the windows that lights up, kind of the foyer or like the entry hall here. This is a direct reference to not only Rondo of Blood, but every Castlevania game. They pretty much all have an entrance like this. There's there's often even a drawbridge that raises up, that's what happens here. When you go through the door, the drawbridge gets raised. That's what it's called, right? The entrance to a castle that they raise up.
Yes.
And then, but anyway, the room that's dark that lights up, that's a direct reference to Rondo of Blood. I believe there is a room just like that that's dark and lights up.
So, okay, hang on. So all the Castlevania games, you're going through Dracula's castle, right?
That's
Which
So
is
they
correct.
called-
should all be the same, right? The
Yeah.
entire game should be just
I
better
think,
graphics and art version of the same rooms over and over and over
I
again,
think
right?
the idea is that it's a living kind of being on its own, where like
Yep.
you'll get, you know, parts of it are the same,
I
parts
mean,
are
I know
different.
I, as a living being, move my organs around regularly.
So you understand.
I understand. I get
You
it.
get it.
It's a spiritual spooky castle.
It's
Yeah.
Hogwarts.
It's not a castle, it's a Castlevania.
Dracula's living in Hogwarts, is what I'm hearing you say.
Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
So I think that's the cheap, easy way to say, like, yeah, some parts are the same.
Yeah.
You know, like we can say that, like, this is the entrance is always the same, but then as you get deeper inside, things are different.
Sam is absolutely
He's-
right.
Dracula is just a big fan of home renovations. He just doesn't like to keep it the same century to century. But the entryway stays classic. He's a big fan of that look.
He's
"No,
like Adam Sandler in Reign Over Me, where he's just constantly redoing his kitchen because his wife died in 9/11 and he can't get over it.
that's a deep cut. I have not seen that movie.
First
But I
thing
know
that came to mind.
it's a sad Adam Sandler and Don Cheadle. I know that.
It definitely is. And Dracula's wife also died under sad circumstances, which we'll talk about more at a later time. But
Dracula
9/11
did 9/11.
yeah, well, no, it just like the real life 9/11, it was done. 9/11 was done to him, and then he retaliated in a way that was much worse.
He invaded a country that had nothing to do with it and killed millions of people.
Very yes.
Death's a big
9/11
fan
me,
for a
well, all
reason.
911 9/11's you.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna 9/11 me, then I'm gonna 9,011 million you.
Oh, that's a tragedy.
Yeah, that's a rough chuckle there, guys. I'm
It
sorry.
is a little bit, but that's all right. That's our trade here.
It's our rough trade. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about the entrance. So after we go through this dark room, there's another interesting room. I'm gonna pull up the map here to show you guys. A little bit easier than trying to find it in a video every time.
Yeah.
But there's this room with like this big rocky thing in the middle of it. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
It's and we'll return to this room later. It's kind of like a waypoint that we'll revisit a few times. But the rock thing in the middle is really interesting. There's two sides you can break, and there's like a wall chicken in one part of it. Aaron, you're probably not familiar with the concept of wall chicken, but that's another Castlevania staple. You break a wall and a chicken falls out of it.
Not
Yes.
a chicken, a whole cooked chicken on a plate.
Yeah.
No, I saw it's a turkey, isn't it? That said, like he picked it up. It's
Okay,
a
let's-
turkey.
Oh, okay.
That's one thing we should address. They really kind of upped their food game in this game.
It
there
really
is-
did.
An insane amount of edibles, so to speak, in Symphony of the Night.
Which is-
Alucard's doing all kinds of edibles in this game.
He's finding all kinds of groceries in them fucking walls.
Which makes absolute like on top of there being freshly cooked food in the walls. Alucard's he's a Dracula. He's a vampire, right? He wouldn't eat anything.
Well,
He's
no,
half.
he's
half.
a Dhampir.
He's a hafu.
Oh,
He's Hafu.
He's a hafu bishonen.
so he
Hafudis.
does suck
He-
blood.
I don't know. He could. I don't
he
think.
can. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
But
he
he
could suck
does
whatever
eat
he
food.
wants, Aaron.
yeah. He can suck whatever he
sucks,
wants.
and he can and does.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about Alucard a little bit later when we do a lore corner segment in this episode. But yes, he is a half vampire. He's a bastard. He's a Dhampir, just like Blade. He's a
Yeah.
daywalker.
Dude, he's just like Blade.
He's just like Blade.
Where's our Blade video game? Where the fuck is
Oh
that?
God, I don't think it's if there is one, it's got to be horrible.
Yeah,
right?
if
I
there
know.
is
Where's
one,
our
it
good
sucks.
one? Where's our Spider-Man for the PS4 Blade video game? Man?
Well,
I know
they're-
they made this is kind of off topic, but they made a Vampire Hunter D game for the PlayStation 1 that was like
Oh.
really shitty in 3D.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's what I would expect from a Vampire Hunter D video game.
Yeah,
Those movies are sick, though. I like those movies.
they are.
Yeah.
Game not
Uh,
so much.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, this rocky room's interesting. We'll come back here later. I don't know if you guys noticed this on the map, but there's a room in the bottom left here that's a secret room. There's a secret weapon and an item in here. You can't get in there right now, but there's some kind of weird way to open it up. And I don't remember the exact sequence, but it involves running back and forth through this rock tunnel in a very specific way using powers that we don't have yet. So anyway, we'll return here, but this room's interesting because it's like the first indication that this game is kind of a maze and not a very nice one, because there are 5 entrances and exits from this room. So there's the one you come in from, like the entryway, and then there's one up above that you can't get to yet because we need more verticality. We don't have very much. All we have is a single jump at this point. There's also this bottom right entrance where there's a wall that you can't get through, but there's like a very conspicuous switch, and then this glowy bottle over here behind the wall that you can't get to.
Genie lamp.
It's an HP max up, which if we don't know that yet, we're going to find out soon enough. But it's taunting you. You can also see this red door over here. So the implication is you got to somehow take a long way around and get back here and open up a shortcut. So the game's kind of telegraphing to us like what the structure is going to be. I like that.
And right now, exploration isn't exactly your buddy, because if you go down there, there are enemies.
Yeah,
they're little. What are they? They're like mer people or something.
They're mermen. They're
mermen.
Yeah,
fucking pieces of shit when you first start the game.
Yeah. I went exploring down there just because I'm like, this is all about exploration, right? Maybe there's something cool down here, and I'm like, oh, good, unlimited enemies. Okay. Oh, ow, and then I died, and so I'm like, fuck, because I had to play through the whole prologue again.
For me, they were the first introduction for this game to the lovely and tried and true mechanic of you get hit and your guy always flies back a certain amount, and that will usually cause you to die, falling through a hole or into water, which Alucard he's got Mario depends on which not Mario. What like Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, water is poison.
Platformer syndrome, yeah.
Yeah, just standing in water up to his face is going to make Alucard take damage until he dies, so you don't want to do that. Up to the shins is okay, but if it gets up to his neck, then you're in trouble.
It's just a vampire rule of thumb. Swimming is bullshit. No swimming.
Not only can you not cross running water, you just can't take a bath.
Like, does Alucard breathe? Like, this is so dumb already.
I don't think so. I don't think he breathes, because he was asleep for like 300 years, I think, in the lore between the last.
And I know I never breathe when I'm sleeping.
I never do. It's dangerous.
He's got a
spiders might fall in your mouth if you do.
That he wears. It's all like black and bronze with like sick rubies on it and everything. It's like a giant like pipe organ of like accordion pumps that like keep it going when he's in his coffin.
That's why they woke him up, because it was so fucking loud. He was keeping the whole countryside awake. The entire province of Wallachia cannot sleep, Alucard. Please disable your CPAP machine. No, it is the only way I can sleep.
The CPAP machine is my curse.
All right. Anyway, the proper way to go. Oh, one more thing about the merman. That's another direct reference to Rondo of Blood. And in fact, I believe in Rondo of Blood, in stage 2, you go to an area with mermen like this, and there's a locked door that you have to use the secret key item to open. And if you do that, you find a witch in front of a purple fire, and you rescue Maria Reynard. So I think that this room with the little purple flame and the locked door, I think that's a reference to Rondo of Blood, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Never knew that when I was a kid, but having just played a little bit of Rondo of Blood, it tickled some of the old memory banks for me. Okay, so then we come to this room with death, where there's like all these corpses impaled on like pikes here, which is pretty sweet. Great background work. I mean, you can really tell that like they've got more money, more budget, more like processing power, just lots of cool sprite work and background work. They're definitely showing off, since it's like the first stage in the game, but they're doing a good job showing off.
Do you think they just thought that looked cool, or do you think that was a reference to the Impaler himself?
Probably both. Like,
yeah,
They probably wanted some kind of like, lots of corpses and stuff because death was there, and like that was an easy, slam dunk. Let's just put some guys impaled. Vlad the Impaler. There we go.
Yeah.
I really like, my favorite part isn't even the guys up front. It's the layers in the back of like even more guys in the distance
Mm-hmm.
that are also impaled. I really like that. So it seems like this is like, boy, he's been busy.
Yeah. IGA just like really put the time in. He was staying overtime just to code in all of these corpses.
Putting his overalls on. He's got a piece of wheat in his mouth. He's like drinking like a big jug of water.
No,
like a farmer.
Ego was definitely like drinking like grape
sorry.
juice out of a goblet and pretending he's a vampire.
You said Ego. In my mind, it was Dracula wearing all of that while he was staking everyone.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's got a cigarette dangling from his mouth. Just fucking put this guy here on the stake here.
Storms are coming.
It's been such a long night of staking corpses. Yeah. It probably is a reference to Dracula because he was the Impaler. We'll talk. We're probably going to have a segment like devoted to the historical character of Vlad the Impaler at one point because he's a fucking badass. But his name was Vlad. Well, his name was just Vlad. He was Prince Vlad. But then he had different titles. One of them was Tepish, which literally means the Impaler. So he was called Vlad Tepish. And then the other one is Dracula, which means like son of the dragon. He would like sign his letters Dracula.
So he was an edgelord.
He was an edgelord.
But he definitely followed through with that though.
He had a bunch of Linkin Park posters and Death Note wall scrolls.
So many. He's got the fucking Shinigami from Death Note, like holding the apple on his wall.
He's like, he's got it. He bought his own Death Note, like fan made, and he's like writes his parents in it every once in a while, and then make him go to his room. And then he cries about it and feels bad, and he tries to tell them, but they don't understand. They just get mad at him.
Yeah. Vlad, why do you tell us about this Death Note? We do not understand.
Play with your friends, please.
Death itself. Go play with your friend, Death.
Yeah. Okay. So not too much more to say about this. We do get if you like loop your way around like to the top of Death's room, you can fall through this little crack. And then there is a heart max up over here on the left. Aaron, did you find the secret heart max up over here?
No. I so I backtracked after I got to the save point. I was just like, I'm gonna hurry get to the save point, and then I can explore some because I didn't want to fuck it up and die and have to play the prologue again. I went to the save point, and then I explored a little bit. I accidentally went to the next area, and I came back.
Yes.
And when you do that, everything's different. Like, not everything's different, but the enemies are all different. They were a little bit tougher. And I was like, okay, well, these guys still aren't that bad. I plowed my way through them. And I knew that there was a little secret there. So I like went back to where the little thing was, that room. And I jumped down. And I missed the platform. And ran into a couple guys that I did not expect down there.
Oh, you met
Tokar and Razor.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Like these two giant monsters are all of a sudden just like trying to eat my face, and I fucked off. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna try that again right now. I'm gonna wait maybe until I get some better equipment and come back.
You fell down there, and Dracula was like, "Wolf, snapping turtle, incredible!"
Go play, have fun.
Babies.
Yeah, we met some big friends here. So that is Slagra and Gaibon. Slagra is the lizard guy with the spear. Gaibon is the flying guy that shoots fire. And they are some recurring villains who have shown up in many Castlevania games. They were, I believe they first appeared in Super Castlevania 4 for the Super NES. And then they showed up again in this game, and they've been in a bunch since then. So they're kind of classic villains of the franchise. They even make an appearance in the anime in a pretty tight sequence from I believe maybe the end of the first season. I forget, but it's pretty sick.
I think it is the end of the first season, yeah, where they're like fighting down in that deep pit.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're not going to spend too much time on them here because we're going to meet them again very soon. So they're a secret encounter in this area, but they're an actual boss in the next area. So in the next episode, we'll talk more about them. But there's an optional encounter here where, like Aaron said, if you go through the door to the next area, which is the alchemy laboratory, and then come back, the state of the stage totally changes, which is super cool, I think. New enemies, a secret encounter for a boss here. They're kind of tough here.
The wargs from the main hall disappear.
Yeah.
And that's where, if you go all the way back to the very front gate, that's where the owl soldier is. If you go in and out of the alchemy lab, he's way down here in the front. So I went back through just to make sure, because I wanted to make sure there wasn't anything else. I actually found a sub weapon. I found an axe on my way back, which was really useful.
Oh, cool.
It just there's one of the candelabras in the room. I think the room right after, if you go left from the secret encounter, that first hallway is like halfway through. One of the candelabras drops an axe.
Tight.
But all the wargs are gone. There's some more zombie soldiers, and then you get to the very, very front, and there's just this armored knight with an owl that he throws at you.
Yeah, the owl.
It's super. I beat the special encounter of the two of Tokar and Razor. When you fight them, they just pick each other up and they fly away, and so it's like they're like, you go fight them later.
Yeah.
So you don't get anything for
no. It's just a little like for whatever reason, it's just kind of cool. Like you fight them, like, and he picks them up and flies them away. So it's kind of neat if you go back, and then it makes it more interesting when you like fight them for real. It's like, oh shit, it's those guys.
Yeah, these guys, these bastards are back. I never knew they were there until this playthrough.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if I did either. I don't think I ever went back through. But the Owl Knight, dude, no way. He did like 35 damage per hit, and like he pulls out his sword, and if he walks forward, and if you touch it, even if it doesn't slice at you, it hurts you. Mm-hmm. So like I died a couple of times. Like, fuck this. I'll kill him later.
Yeah, that guy.
I'll come get revenge later. Yeah.
That guy's a shitlord for sure. And we're not intended to face him until much later. He's pretty hard at this point in the game, but he is a cool enemy. I like how if you kill his owl, he gets all sad. He'll like kneel down over the owl's corpse and like cry over it.
There's lots of cool little weird things like that you can miss really easily if you're blowing through it, killing stuff really fast, especially later on when you start getting really strong. But like cool, really cool death animations for a lot of the enemies. Just little tiny things that people like the guys who made this game put a lot of work into it.
Even the wargs in that first hallway, I love how they just like explode into flames when just from being cut.
They howl, like they make that big howling noise when they die. Yeah.
You know, it's something I appreciate. It's small, but this the wallpaper in that room with the save off of the side there, I just find that wallpaper very pleasant.
It's very soothing, like a hospital.
I just like it.
Lots of cool things, like, you know, how there's no audio when you go into the save rooms or the transition hallways. Now, one thing I noticed, and I have no idea, maybe you'll know, Andy. Go up to one of the. Do you have the transition room on this map at all?
Not. Yeah, got one here.
Okay, so zoom in, and right at the top there, it just says CD.
Yeah. I
don't know why. Count Dracula. But probably not, since there's a circle right there. Yeah, like there's a CD.
Right.
I just noticed that, and I don't know why that's there.
I think it's just a kind of a joke that these were here for loading purposes, so that the game could load the next area. So it's just riffing on the fact that this is a CD, not a cartridge. So now there's load times, you know.
And you think that they stuck the boobies there so you'd linger and give it more time to load? Like you just hang out and just check out the boobies.
Didn't even notice
on those fine angel ladies.
Yeah, we got some nice watchers here, just showing off one boobie each.
Because it's really, if you actually look at this screen, no other like doorways have like this weird like the archway is like doesn't work with the architecture of this game, where like it's like you're inside of the wall, right? It's like a cross section in all the other rooms when you're like playing the game. Where this is like this has like artwork over that cross section, which is interesting.
It is. It's almost like you're pulled out. And to me, like, I mean, maybe I'm reading a little too much into it, but it's almost like we're pulled out of like physical space when we go into these rooms, and we're sort of like transported, which kind of goes along with what Sam was saying earlier about the castle being alive. And believe it or not, canonically speaking, the castle is alive.
Yeah. and you know what?
Yeah.
That makes sense, because every time you do something like weird and like mess with physics, there's no audio. So like when you go in the save room, when you go through the teleports, and when you go through the hallways, so that maybe that's what's going on, is that like the weird magic-y shit. And see, like this has it too, where like the cross section doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, in the save room. Yeah, we've got this foreground overlay, and I like the save icon. I believe this is a 20-sided figure.
Tetrahedron?
Dodecahedron.
Dodecahedron. Yeah.
Yeah. But I like that when you save, it kind of like breaks apart and then comes back together.
It turns into a coffin, right?
Turns into a coffin, yeah.
So many I love the sound effects of everything in this game. But again, I am extremely biased because I played this before there was like super hype, before the internet told you this was a good game.
I don't think that it's biased because you like it. Like, it's not like you made this game or your grandfather worked on the production team. I mean, like, you played this game, you like it. That's just you saying, I really like this game, and this is why.
It's like it's like someone saying, I really like The Matrix. Like, everyone fucking likes them. Like,
it's like saying, I like Ike.
Yeah, it's me saying I like this game isn't it's like, okay, yeah, fucking does. Everyone loves Castlevania. Okay, that's why I stipulate with the biases more towards the fact that I was one of the people that was like, going on and on about it, that made it into this whole thing.
You liked it before.
You're a
it was
hipster
cool
about it. We know.
No, because the thing is, this game was not a big hit when it came out. It was a real slow burn. In '97, when this came out, it was not very popular. It didn't do that well. I mean, eventually over time, through word of mouth, it got popular and sold a lot of copies. And I didn't play it till, I don't know, probably like 2000 or something. But
so yeah, it was definitely a kind of a cult classic back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember it was like, the cool older guy who I knew, who like showed me anime and all, he was like, this is Suikoden 2. He was like, this is one of those games like, oh yeah, here, play this. Yeah, play this, kid. And it was Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
This was just like a random guy that approached you as you were walking home from school.
No,
I was going to say, Sam, he was grooming you, man.
No, it was my sister's boyfriend. He was a couple years older than me.
Yeah, dude, red flags all over the place.
What do you think of that Alucard, Sam?
Yeah.
It's pretty hot, huh? I mean, cool.
Sam, you're pretty smart for your age.
Wow, man, you're just really mature, Sam. But it was the kind of thing where, like, dude, you say, like, knowing that they haven't, have you ever played Castlevania Symphony of the Night?
Yeah.
What's that? This guy doesn't know what Castlevania Symphony of the Night is. Let me help you out, bro. And then you play it, and it was easier. It was the allure, honestly, for me, was I played a lot of, like, almost every game I owned until I played this was like 3 discs or more. Like Resident Evil 2. Well, that was 2 discs, but Resident Evil 2, Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy 7.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, this will be a relaxing, easy jaunt of a game to play. It's only 1 disc. Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah. How wrong you were.
I mean, I had no. This is the first Castlevania game I played, so like it was like we called it Symphony of the Night too. So like the Castlevania thing was like it wasn't even like a neuron in my brain when I played this.
Oh, so you hadn't really played the classic series much.
I think my dad played 4 and I watched him, but I didn't really maybe didn't even know the name of the game or anything. Like I had no connection. It was just this game. It was just like I'd never played a Metroid game, so like this was my first foray into this game was it. And it was just like, whoa, and I just like played the fuck out of it. It was just like, this is amazing. It's those times where you play something you've never played before. It was like nothing like I'd ever played.
In many ways, this game broke America's brain. I mean, if you think about like, and we can transition a little bit now into talking about like Alucard himself, and sort of the lore corner aspects of his character. But in many ways, like if you think about this game, 1997, also Final Fantasy VII came out this same year. This was the year that like silver-haired Bishonens just totally broke the brains of all of
It's true.
America.
It's true.
Every fucking otaku and dork and anime weeb in their mom's house back in 97 was seeing Sephiroth and Alucard, and it did something to our brains.
Because if you got on any chat room or message board, there were 500 million different Alucards and Sephiroths, XX592s,
Yeah.
42069s,
42069.
like I'm not even it's like everywhere. I played an MMO pretty early, like in like 2003 2002, and there were many Alucards and many Sephiroths.
Yep.
You got your choice. You got good guy, bad guy. They're the same exact person.
It's the same guy.
Same exact person.
You could go to like a role-playing chat room and pretend you're Alucard.
It was everywhere. It was part of the nerd zeitgeist.
What were you going to say there, Aaron?
Well, I'm curious before I forget to ask. What is so? Sam, was this the first Castlevania, Metroidvania game you've ever played?
Yeah.
Eddie, what was yours?
Well, I played a little bit of Super Metroid, but I didn't particularly understand it. And then when I was a kid, I tried it and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like there's something going on here. I'm curious about it. Kind of like with Castlevania 2. When I played that, I was like, I'm really puzzled and I want to know like what the solution to this game is. But like I couldn't figure it out. It was way too much. I'd like watched an older cousin play it and I was like, oh man, this is so interesting. But like it was beyond me at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then
back then, oh sorry, go ahead.
I played on an emulator a little bit later, Super Metroid, and kind of like save scummed my way through it. So I thought it was cool. I didn't get the full experience because I was cheating. But this game I played legit, because I had the disc for it for PS1. And so this was probably like the first Metroidvania game that I played all the way through, like on my own power without cheating.
Gotcha. Right on.
And a lot of people our age, I think you could safely say that it might have been because, we all had access to Super Nintendo. But again, if anyone was like me back then, like Super Mario World was basically this game at that time. Like, even though it was like a level left to right, that's it. It's like, holy shit, I need all my brain cells for this.
Yeah.
I would not have been able to handle like the non-linear gameplay like this when I was that young.
For sure. Yeah. It forces you to engage parts of your brain that you didn't even know existed before.
I would have done this little loop of the entrance like for 5 hours and be like, this game is impossible.
You're just grinding on the zombies that endlessly run at you and getting one experience each time.
And then you take that left for the first time and you're just like, oh fuck. And then you spit, it's like I would have gotten bored if I had played this any time before than when I did. I think I was finally getting into longer games and like really, and I think what helped it for me was like the RPG aspect of it, because I was like gung-ho, big old nerd boner for anything with stats and RPG elements at all when I was at this time.
Yeah. Especially after like Final Fantasy VII had come out this year, like we said, but also like 4 and 6 on the Super Nintendo.
My brain was blossoming to these types of games. It wasn't quite the same, but it's such a like, that opening scene and the music and all the enemies and there's blood everywhere and it's just like, whoa, what the fuck is this shit? And it really, there's some shit later on. I'll say one word. I'll say Grand Falloon.
There you go.
That was another one. I was like, holy fuck, what is this thing? That was in this game, right? Not 4?
Yeah, no, you're right. Okay, that's this game. Absolutely. It'll be a minute, but you can look forward to Grand Falloon, ladies and gentlemen.
I have never.
And I have no idea what that is.
Yeah,
so that's exciting.
One more thing I want to talk about before we dive into the lore corner here. We get our first relic in this area, the Cube of Zoe. Is there some sound there on Sam's
Yeah,
end?
Sam's making noise. What are you doing,
Sounded
Sam?
like a telecast or something.
I looked at my phone and forgot there was something running on it. So sorry about that.
Oh, okay. Sam had a porno video running on his phone in the
It
background.
sounded like a really energetic one. Some guy was having a blast.
It's worse than porn. It's Grand Theft Auto 5 role play. Like that. There's a whole thing on Twitch right now where there's a server. Oh, dude, it's been off and on. It's always on there, but there's like the Twitch meta will latch onto it every once in a while. And my favorite streamer, he had this whole character last time. He was a 45-year-old retiree from like MIT guy who like had a midlife crisis, became Young Dab, the SoundCloud rapper. So he's like this old wrinkly fat guy with like a facial tattoo. It was this whole thing. It was hilarious, and it went on for months. He hasn't done it for like 2 years, and now he's back doing the cop side. Like it's really intense. They have to know their TIN codes, case laws.
He's role playing Derek Chauvin.
It's insane.
Oh God.
But I forgot I had it on my phone, so they were chasing somebody on like when they're cop cars and stuff. So they're like yelling and cussing and just like, yeah, just disrupting everything.
Let us know if they run into a Dracula. Okay.
Yeah. Let us know if a Dracula shows up. All right, and enough about that bullshit. Let's talk about the Cube of Zoe.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I don't know who Zoe is, but this is her cube, and this is the first of many relics that we'll get over the course of this game. This relic, when you acquire it, the item description says allows you to see items, or causes items to materialize. That's what it says. So that's the Cube of Zoe. What that means is that hearts will now drop from candles, as well as sub-weapons. So like Sam said, he got the axe when he doubled back through this area, but on your first pass, it wouldn't fall because there's millions of candles all throughout this game, just like every Castlevania game. 90% of all you do in Castlevania games is attack candles and torches and various other light sources. And usually hearts fall out of them, and hearts are your ammo for your sub-weapons. You're also going to get sub-weapons, and in this game, money. Tons of money is going to drop from these candles.
Very important.
Yeah, Alucard is in there to get that bag. That's what this game is all about.
It just sounds like a child's Jack in the Box, like but Alucard can't quite figure it out.
For a second, I thought you meant it was like a Jack in the Box combo meal or something. Like
yeah, that's what I meant. It's a junior bacon cheeseburger.
He's gonna open it up and there's a sourdough Jack in there.
I'll tell you guys something now because I had to actually look it up because I couldn't remember. To use your sub weapon, you have to hold up and attack.
Yes.
I forgot and was very frustrating and like was hit every goddamn button. But I remembered eventually. But
yes, that's important information. That's kind of a relic from the old days when on the NES they didn't have very many buttons on the controller, so they made it so you had to press 2 at the same time to do certain actions.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking cavemen, jeez, barbarians.
Can you believe we ever lived that way?
Just give us a button, goddamn. We have so many of them.
Like a billion buttons on this damn thing.
We've got an embarrassment of riches when it comes to buttons.
It's like how I think that language is stupid in many ways because we have these long ass words when there are very short combinations of sounds that we haven't used, and we really should. It's stupid that we have words like discombobulate when we could just call it a blah blah. You know, I guess that's as long.
That's not any better.
A bull. A bull.
You should check out some German vocabulary sometime. All it is is like, yeah, it's like 17 syllable words to indicate like some very specific kind of existential dread.
Yeah. But I appreciate that though, because it's literally just like the words describing it made into a word. Like,
yeah. Their word for light bulb means glow pair.
There you go. I get it.
And I think their word for bra means like booby holder or something like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Was it like French for, was it like grapefruit or potato? It's like apple of the earth. Pomme de terre.
Yeah, pomme de terre. Yeah.
It's just silly fruit.
They can't come up with a new word. Well, we have the apple and we have the apple of the earth.
Well, how stupid are we with grapefruit? That's just
that's a
fucking
weird
dumb.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like no, it's nothing like that.
There's not even like it's not the right size, it's not the right color, it's not the right texture.
The flavor's not even close.
Completely unlike a grape in every way.
I think
they made potty legal after they named the grapefruit.
Eggplant at one point in its development does look like an egg, so that one makes sense. But grapefruit is just fucking stupid.
Oh yeah, here we go.
All right,
I
let's
know
go to
who
the
this
lore
is.
corner, folks.
Yeah.
Let's go to the lower corner. No more fruit talk.
Hit that lore corner drop, Aaron. There it is. the Phantom of the Opera.
I was gonna
overture.
say it's not exact, but it's the feel.
Yeah.
It's the sound feels that we're going for right now.
So welcome to the first lore corner of this series, and in this edition of Lore Corner, we're going to talk about Alucard. It may surprise you to learn, but Alucard is Dracula backwards.
What?
Dun dun dun.
Your mind done been blown. I know. Okay, well, let's talk about him. He's a character in this game, but it's also a reference to the classic Universal horror series. I think Universal. They made all those Dracula movies with Bela Lugosi and others, I think, but he was like the main one. But in one of them, I'm not sure which one, maybe Son of Dracula, there's a guy claiming to be Alucard, who's like the son of Dracula. I think it turns out it's actually just Dracula pretending.
Yeah,
But-
it's like he's trying to be somebody else. And I'm Mr. Alucard.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wait.
yeah.
And like they walk by a mirror and go, oh, it's Dracula backwards.
that
kind of thing.
And in the 40s, that was like actually a clever joke.
So you're making me sad because you just made me realize, like, if that Tom Cruise movie didn't bomb so horribly, we would have seen a live action Alucard in the Dooku, the Dark Universe cinematic universe.
Yeah. It's kind of too bad that failed. I mean, it was very stupid, but it would have been cool. It would be cool if there was a good version of it, I guess
Yes.
is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it would be, but instead we had Tom Cruise as the Mummy.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Thanks. I hate it.
I never saw Dracula Untold. Did you guys see Dracula Untold? With
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't know.
I heard it was
No.
campy fun,
Mm.
Yeah.
not
Fun?
good, but like
Yeah.
fun enough. Anyways,
Let's talk about Alucard from the Castlevania series. So it's of course a reference to those classic horror movies. The early Castlevania games, at least the first one specifically, was just full of references to horror movies. I mean, they had the Frankenstein, the Wolfman. I mean, it was kind of tongue in cheek. It was kind of sort of lighthearted, even though it was like a grim, macabre tone. Later games kind of get away with that a little bit, and this game is like a little self-serious in that way. It's not as much like this campy references, although some of that DNA carries over.
but they're still stuck with the silly name Castlevania.
Yeah, well, of course, in Japan it's Akumajo Dracula, which means Demon Castle Dracula.
Which is
Sounds like a game show.
Yeah. One of those fucked up Japanese game shows where they
Demon
make
Castle
you cut your hand off.
Takeshi.
In this case, it's just a man who comes and bites your neck. Bites it real good.
It's like that episode of Silent Library where they get the man with no teeth to come and gum on you if you get the question wrong.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that is. It
YouTube.
sounds fun, wacky
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, you Google that, look it up on YouTube, folks, and you'll have a disturbing time, I promise.
Man gums another man. Got it. Gonna Google that.
All right. Well, okay, let's talk about Castlevania 3. So in Castlevania 3 for the Nintendo Entertainment System, this was the first time we met Alucard in this franchise. And this is a picture of what he looked like. Very different from his appearance today. He looks like, I don't know, just like an angry middle-aged man with his like a 5 o'clock shadow and just frowning and, has kind of like a lantern jaw.
I was gonna say he's got a bit of an underbite there, doesn't he?
He just got a week of detention. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Alucard, you're in timeout.
Get out of that trash bag, Alucard. I don't want to.
And he's got dark hair, and it's not particularly long. Well, in this game, you play as Trevor Belmont, and so Aaron, you've seen the anime show on Netflix, and the anime show is basically an adaptation of Castlevania 3. So in that show, as well as in this game, you're Trevor Belmont, and you're on a quest to stop Dracula, and you get some allies on your quest, and one of them is Alucard. So you start by encountering him, and you defeat him. After you beat him, and he transforms into bats and shoots fireballs like his dad does in most of these games, which is kind of a cool reference. But after you beat him, he agrees to join your party and help you on your quest. So this was the first time you could play as Alucard in a Castlevania game.
Okay, cool.
Now,
so very much like the anime. They meet, they fight, and then they join.
That's right.
Dig it.
Now, also in that game, you encounter Sypha Belnades, who is also in the anime, and another guy named Grant, who got totally cut out of the anime, which is kind of fucked up, Justice for Grant.
Well, what does Grant do? Why does he deserve to be in the anime?
Well, he honestly, he doesn't. He's kind of a nothing character, which is why they cut him out. But I don't know. He's like a thief or something that can like crawl on the ceiling and throw daggers. That's pretty much his whole shtick.
That's kind of cool, I guess. But
yeah.
Like, I think three main characters, and then like since they dug so deep into the Nemesis and Dracula and all that, like it makes sense that they stuck it to 3.
Yeah, I agree. And Sypha and Alucard are the more interesting ones. But you can never have them all at the same time. There's multiple paths in Castlevania 3. At various points, you choose which level you're going to go to next, which was a pretty novel thing at the time. And so depending on which path you go on, you're going to meet a different side character that'll help you, either Sypha, Grant, or Alucard. And so then once you have your buddy, you can switch freely between them. And so in addition to Trevor's normal arsenal, now if you get Alucard, you have the ability to like shoot these fireballs in 3 directions. And you can also transform into a bat and fly around.
A cute little bat.
Yeah.
Those little wings.
It's pretty sick, actually. I mean, Castlevania 3 is notorious as being fucking crazy and hard, and I've never beaten it. It's just insane. It's so hard. But I feel like Alucard is probably the easiest way to get through it, just simply because he can fly over a lot of rooms, and like his basic attack has a lot. It's good spacing, like it goes in a lot of directions. Yeah.
Jesus, yeah, like I'm watching the. Oh my god, like that level looks like a nightmare just on itself. Watching him jump. What are those mummies? Like electric mummies?
Throwing toilet paper at him.
Yep.
Yeah, they're like coming in, zapping in from the room with lightning, and then they're flinging toilet paper at him. Like, what is happening?
This is the classic series. These games are so punishing and unforgiving, like to the point where I don't know. Some people consider them fun. I'm not sure if I agree. They're very hard.
Yeah. I mean, I'd give it a shot, but no, just that room by itself looked like it was fucking awful. Like, why wouldn't you be a bat all the time?
I believe that there's some restrictions. Like, I don't think you can stay in bat form forever, and I think Alucard maybe takes more damage, and he can't use sub weapons like Trevor can. So there's drawbacks, but I do think probably it's better to be Alucard than to be Sypha or Grant. Sypha can like do her spells, which is tight, but she's kind of a glass cannon that way. And then Grant can't do shit. Like he can crawl on the ceiling and he can throw his daggers, and that's about it. So there's not much use for him.
Yeah, in the anime, Sypha is definitely the most powerful character. Like,
dude, yes,
like bar none. Oh, it's a Frankenstein.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got a Frankenstein here.
Yeah, there he is. Look at him. Oh, he's throwing the room at you.
Okay, well, we've got a lot more to say, so I'm going to cut it short there on Castlevania 3. We'll talk about it more at a later date because this game is full of references to it. But let's also talk about some of Alucard's other appearances. So he first appeared in Castlevania 3, like I said. That game takes place in 1476. So then he goes to sleep for 100 years, wakes up in 1797, and then that's when he's got to take it upon himself to beat up his dad. So those are the events of Symphony of the Night. And then he went to sleep again. Spoilers, like, there's other Castlevania games after this one. But
are you telling me that we win in the end?
I'm not can neither confirm nor deny, but
it's fucked up, man. It's fucked up.
Alucard does return later in Castlevania Aria of Sorrow for the Game Boy Advance. That takes place in the year 2035, so it's in the future. And
cool.
He's masquerading as Genya Arikado in that game.
Is it like a cyberpunk game or something, or?
I don't think so. It's in a castle.
Is it still like in castle? In a castle?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Except for the only thing different is later on you start getting guns.
You
That's
do.
You get
yeah.
like fucking rifles and handguns and shit
Yeah.
like that.
You
You
get
don't
like a
even get
laser
like
cannon.
Robo Frankenstein or anything. Like,
No, it's all still pretty much Castlevania, but
what's the point? What's the point?
Yeah.
Come on.
well, they really kind of turn into like, let's just make more Symphony of the Night games after
They
this
do.
point.
Yeah. They get kind of
Specifically on
lazy.
The
They didn't
DS
even
and
make
Game Boy
man,
Advance.
like Dracula's castle teleports on the moon, and it's at the moon base now or something. Like,
Hey, don't be
I mean-
ridiculous, Aaron.
I mean, the
Sorry.
thing is, there's like so after Symphony of the Night, there's like 6 more of these Metroidvania style games, like 3 for the Game Boy Advance and 3 for the DS. And out of those, maybe 2 of them are good.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
Dang.
Really,
a lot
this
of
was
them
kind
kind of
of-
suck.
like this is it. This is the good Castlevania game. There's some other ones here and there, but this is the one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Alucard, his real name is Adrian Fahrenheit's Tepish. At least that's what it says in the instruction manual for Castlevania Symphony of the Night. His mom's name is Lisa, and he is the bastard offspring of the unnatural union of a human and a vampire. So this Symphony of the Night talks about it a little bit. Sam's exhibiting some prejudice here against half vampires.
Well, like, that shouldn't work, right? Like, it's right. It is unnatural because I mean, like, vampires got to be just like shooting dust, right? There's like
Yeah, that shit's
nothing
past
alive
expiration date.
inside-
Is what I mean.
inside of them.
Apparently, Dracula's firing bullets.
Yeah,
Maybe
apparently
he's got vacuum sealed.
he had it
Like
saved.
my balls are flat for a reason, baby.
Oh no.
You got about 5 minutes once I open them up.
I've been preserving this for centuries.
She's pregnant. He's like, I'm just as surprised as you are, baby. I don't know.
Are you
You
sure
said we didn't have to wear a condom. I don't know what to tell you.
Are you sure that it's mine? I'm not going to pay child support.
I need a paternity test, please, before. I don't mean to upset you. It's just
like,
to make myself feel better.
Oh, what? You're pregnant? Oh, my castle, it's disappearing, and it won't come back for 100 more years.
Oh, goodbye. They make him go on like Maury Povich to prove that he's the father. Okay. Well, so his mom's Lisa. That's portrayed in the anime. So if you've seen the anime, like the first episode's all about Lisa meeting Dracula, and they have a little romance. And then she has a son, and then she gets murdered by the humans, and Dracula gets super pissed and swears vengeance. And that little story is retold at some point in this game. So I guess I just spoiled it by saying it there. But if you've seen the anime, you already knew that, and you should watch the anime because it's really good. So
Yeah, it's fucking cool. You're on Dracula's side. You're like, yeah, man, get them.
Yeah.
Fucking make them pay for 1,000 years or whatever.
Honestly,
yes,
yeah.
turn into a giant wall of flame. Fuck yeah, do it.
I'm absolutely on Dracula's side in that show. He's the protagonist.
Yeah, basically. Trevor Belmont's a fucking asshole.
Yeah, he fucking sucks. I mean, he's cool, but he's also a piece of shit.
Well, I just meant since he's Dracula's antagonist. Therefore I'm not rooting for him.
Yeah,
I'm rooting for Sypha.
Aren't we all? I mean, and
We all.
and you know why, folks. You know why. Genya Arikado. Let's jump back to 2035. So, like I said, he appeared in Aria of Sorrow. Then he came back in the direct sequel to that game, Dawn of Sorrow. So that was his last appearance. Other than like bullshit that I don't know anything about, like Grimoire of Souls and Moonlight Rhapsody. I don't know. Those sound like fake games to me. But
If I don't know about it, it's bullshit.
I guess it's probably like mobile or browser games or some shit. But that's Alucard, Genya Arikado. So that is our protagonist here, and he is the first Castlevania series protagonist who's not a Belmont. So kind of interesting there. They really gave the creators of this game a kind of a wide latitude to just kind of go nuts, get a little nutty with it, come up with their own protagonist. And it's cool that they called it back to Castlevania 3, so it's still part of the lore here, But really, I mean, this character is like such like me and Sam were saying, it like broke people's brains. You know,
Yeah.
he's just like such an iconic character. You know, this like very fey, like grim, like pale and elfin, and he's so tortured. You know, just so very very pensive and tortured. You know, like just you know every chat room, every message board, people had
Yeah.
avatars of
This
Alucard.
this was only a few years after Interview with the Vampire as well. So like this was like what people thought of vampires.
Yeah, this
It
was
was
that era of vampire.
the slow demise to what it became with whatever the fuck that was called.
Twilight.
Twilight, you know.
Yeah, dude, fuck that. I don't need
They
no
were still
sparkling
like they were
vampires.
still cool and sexy and not just sexy and stupid.
Not just
Would Twilight
pedophiles.
would Twilight have been acceptable if, when they got injured, the vampires turned into giant hulking monsters that flew through fireballs at people?
It would have
Would
been
it?
better.
Would have been
I'll
better.
say it would have been
I'm
better.
just saying, they're missing that key element of true monstrousness underneath. And I mean, don't get me wrong, they're monsters. You know, he's stalking a child. And
Yeah, they stole that from this game though, because Maria's only 17 and Alucard's like
Like 300 and
it's
whatever.
yeah, and it's implied that they're gonna get together.
I was gonna say, is that like, I didn't know that was like a plot point. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We're Matt Gates in this game.
Oh,
Alucard
no.
is Matt Gates.
No, do you mean in the sense that he was set up and there was an elaborate plot to blackmail him?
Yeah, Matt Gates is pedophile spelled backwards.
Got his ass.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got him.
Owned. You've been owned. All right. Well, let's switch it up a little bit. I did want to talk about before we wrap up this episode. We're done with Castlevania for today, folks. We'll be back next week to talk about the next stage. But before we wrap up this episode of the show, I think we should jump back into some gaming news. We didn't talk about any like current events in gaming last week because there was just so much to say about the introduction to the series. But gaming news marches on, wouldn't you know it? And there are several hilarious and stupid stories that I would like to share with you today. But before that, Sam, a brand new game is out, Monster Hunter Rise, and
Yeah.
I know you're a big fan of the series. What are your impressions? What do you think?
It's very, very good, and I think once it comes out on PC, it'll be a 100% perfect for me. I'm only saying that it's not 100% perfect now because I know that it's coming out on PC and that it'll look better and have a higher frame rate. But those are minor, like, moot points. It doesn't matter. The freaking changes they made to this game are amazing. Especially if you played it for a long time, I highly recommend everyone who has got a Switch to try it out, and I highly recommend you be patient because there's a steep learning curve even in this version. There is a million walls of text you have to read through. There's an offline mode, like they split it up in a really interesting way where you're in your little village, and there's like a room that's like the multiplayer hub, but it's all part of the same village, but there's like a set of quests there, and then there's like your village quests, which are like off, like single player. Like, definitely start there because they'll kind of hold your hand a little bit more and explain everything. But man,
yeah, I was going to ask, like, can you enjoy this game like solo?
Oh yeah, you can play the entire
solo
game.
Experience.
You can even play the online stuff solo. You don't have to have people. It scales off of how many people join, and you can start, like, you don't even have to like pull people into your world or anything like that. You can play the 100% the entire game solo. It's not, I mean, Monster Hunter's not really known for its epic story or anything like that, but it's charming as fuck. And it's complicated. You don't think it's going to be like a game you can just sit down and just play like a little bit here. You can, but you got to do like all your fucking homework first, because if you've never played one of these games, it's like trying, like someone going, oh, here's Dark Souls 3. This is your play Dark Souls. Play what now?
Just play
if
it.
you've never heard of Dark Souls, just playing one's like,
do it. Just play it.
It's that kind of, I compare it to Dark Souls, but it's not really, because I actually did that to a friend and it threw him off, and he was bitching at me about all the things that it's not like, because it's got a lot of things, animation locks. That's a big thing. You do something.
It's the Dark Souls of Monster Hunters.
It's Dark Souls in the sense that you fight these big monsters and you learn their patterns, and and you like hunt them down. It's
So
so
is
good.
is an animation lock when you do a move and you're like committed to it and you can't break
Yes,
out of it?
and it's animation lock the game, because if you mistime it, you know, like, oh, no, he went this way, and I know that means he's gonna do this move, and I'm stuck in this move
Mm,
for 3 more seconds. So
yeah.
I'm getting fucking knocked down.
It's like in Smash Brothers when I try to do Bowser's double kick of destiny and it takes like 5 seconds to get it
Exactly.
off.
Yeah. Just frame dead and all that fun jazz.
Yeah.
But what they did in this game, so like they gave you these things called wire bugs. And what that is, it's basically like, imagine like a hook shot from Zelda that you can do anywhere you want.
Hmm.
And you've got charges of it and they refill. So like you can, so like, okay, so here's a good example of how much cooler this game is. One of the things in Monster Hunter, you can just kill the monster and carve them, or you can hunt, you can trap them and take them back. And when you can like sleep them or stun them, but there's these big bombs. So if they ever fall asleep or you get them in a trap, you can place these barrel bombs down, and then so like what we usually do, let's say we're going to fight a big really hard monster, and we want to get his horns, like, so you can break parts on the monsters, and we want to break the horns. So you'll fight them enough, sometimes they'll go off to rest because they're really fucked up, and we sneak up there and everybody puts their big bombs down and someone does a big attack and it blows off their horns. So one of the things with these wire bugs, and this will be the last thing I think, just to give you a taste, you can zip around and like hook and jump and ride and through the air and stuff, but you can take, instead of just placing the barrel bombs down, you can like zip up in the air, do a backflip, and just throw the bomb straight down on the monster overhead, which is pretty awesome.
That sounds pretty tight. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I've always thought like I don't know if these games are for me, but like that aspect of it of like being sneaky and shit and like, choosing the right tool for the situation does sound pretty
Oh,
interesting.
it's 100%, because they all have strengths and weaknesses, elemental strength and weaknesses. And as you start, it doesn't matter, but as you get in the farther in the end game, it can matter a lot. So you basically can see like each gear set has different abilities on it, and you like pick and choose and build your own sets to like specifically go loadouts, basically go out and take down the monsters. But I highly recommend it, but just know it's not going to be like instant. It's making sense, this is great. There's no health bars, so you have no idea. You have to like watch the monster to see, like, they'll move differently. Like when they're ready to be captured, they'll limp and have a specific animation for it and everything. But I would recommend it, especially this one on the Switch. It's fantastic, and it's weeby as shit because it's like a Japanese themed
Yeah.
one.
Awesome. Yeah. If you're a weeb and you're listening to this program, go buy Monster Hunter
Yeah, get
Rise.
it. It's great, and there's a billion people playing it. So if you do want to play online,
A
the online is
billion.
awesome. I mean, it's just it was so many people that like my friends were getting kicked off because their
Wow.
servers were having problems.
Damn,
I mean,
good for
Monster
them.
Hunter World is the #1 selling Capcom game of all time,
God
and this
damn.
is the
Wow.
next Monster Hunter game. So it's already sold 4 million units, I think.
I
and it
mean,
came
that's
out
good to know,
Friday.
because like the danger with any big online game is that like no one will play it, or like not
Yeah.
enough people will play it to make it worthwhile. So that's cool to know that like it's supported. You
And-
will
and
have
it-
friends.
You can
Since
play
it's
locally
Nintendo,
too.
Like,
Yeah. So if you have friends who have it on Switch, you can just go sit in your living room and all on your Switch and play locally together. So you don't even have to get on the real, like, with random people.
But if you're antisocial like me, you don't have to play with anyone.
Nope. You actually get a palico, which is a cat, and a palo mutt, which is a dog, that like come with you, and you actually give them their own gear and loadouts and everything, and level them up.
And are they good boys?
Oh yes, yeah. The Palamutes are new and they are fucking awesome because you can ride them and mine and pick up stuff, and you can sharpen your weapons while riding them, which is amazing. It's good.
I
It's
love
good. Just go get it. There's the demo might still be up. The demo's up. I'd recommend that first, just
Yeah.
to see if you get the feel for it.
Or check it out from the public library, which is probably what I'll do.
If it's there, yeah, definitely check it out. It's really good. It's very good. I've been playing a lot. I put over 20 hours in it already. I've
All
never been
right.
playing it that much.
Well, good to know. Perhaps Aaron and I will jump into that at some point. But yeah, we're glad you're enjoying that, and it's I don't know, it's cool. Sounds like a sweet game. I'm glad that it's like successessful, and that people are enjoying it. I don't know. It's
Well-
nice when good games come out. There's so many shitty
Yeah.
games, so it's nice when a good one comes out.
Yeah, and the Switch, like, it's interesting how how well it's doing on the Switch, like, because the Switch, they had Monster Hunter World, was it?
No, a World was on
They
PS4.
ported a 3DS one
Well,
to
so yeah,
the
Generations.
Switch. That was it.
Yeah.
The port of
Mhm.
Generations, and then they also had Dauntless, which was like a free-to-play version of a Monster Hunter game.
It's that
That
style, yeah.
yeah, but it's very bare bones. There's no
Yeah.
like
Oh no.
yeah,
I'm not gonna shit on it, but I
but
will.
that's the one that I played.
Yeah.
That's the one that I've played some, like not a ton, but enough that I'm like, that's kind of fun. I bet like a more fleshed out game would be more fun, which got me in turn interested in like
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Rise. And now you're talking about it, I'm like,
You should
I
get
can
it.
see myself getting into it.
It's systems upon systems upon systems, so be ready for that.
Which
But they
might
ease
be
you
a little
into it.
much for me.
They ease you into it, like, here's how you make a weapon. Oh, okay. Well, here's how you upgrade a weapon,
Yeah,
and here's
yeah,
how you add a rampage item to it. And if you make rampage weapons, they have more slots for more.
yeah.
But it's progression. Everything just keeps progressing.
See what happens is it's Monster Hunter Rises, and Bane shows up in the take control, monster hunters, take control. Take control of your city.
Speaking of that, I've been watching Harley Quinn. We don't need to talk about it. I've been watching Harley Quinn. That show is much better than it has any right to be. Really fucking good. It's like
I've heard
it's
good
like
things.
Venture Brothers. It's like the spiritual successor to Venture Brothers. It's fucking good.
Wow. All right. Good to know. That was totally off my radar. So that's good to know.
Check it out. Really fun.
All right. Well, before we wrap up today, thank you, Sam, for that review of Monster Hunter Rise. But now I want to talk about the funniest story that I've seen all week. Shout outs to friend of the show, Jason, for turning me onto this. But this has to do with, Aaron, your new favorite game, Balan Wonderworld. A notoriously shitty game from Yuji Naka and Naoto Oshima, the creators of Sonic the Hedgehog. This is a real what were they thinking situation, because this game, like when they first showed trailers for it, I was like, that looks pretty cool. I kind of want to play this game, but yeah, it didn't turn out that way. It ended up sucking, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But there's and that is what it is. We talked about it on this show already. It's not good. But there's been a funny development lately. Were you gonna say something there, Aaron?
I was just gonna say I had high hopes for it. Like I wouldn't get super excited by the trailer, but the creative team behind it maybe be like, oh man, I hope this is good. I hope that it's cool. They made some cool shit in the past, and I like these guys. So I was hopeful that it was a fun game, but alas, it sucked butts.
I haven't played it. I haven't even watched a video, but I want to read the first line of the verdict from IGN. Balan Wonderworld isn't always an awful platformer, but it is a consistently boring one.
Yeah, and if you don't particularly trust IGN, and why would you? This is what Nintendo Life had to say. They called it a charmless, confusing fossil from the creators of Sonic. They gave it a 3 out of 10. They said it's not worth your time.
Oh man.
So yeah, if you would expect any website to be kind of charitable, towards like a mascot platformer, it would be Nintendo Life, but they did not care for it.
I'm not surprised that they tore it to shreds. It's like a blatant ripoff of Mario Odyssey. Like put on different hats and get different powers, like magic hats that give your main character different power sets. Like it's a total cheap ripoff of Mario Odyssey.
Yeah. They were like, what if we made Mario Odyssey, but it was bad?
Yeah, exactly. But it was a boring, lifeless children, and they didn't really. The platforming wasn't fun, and it had no character whatsoever. Yeah, no, that sounds great. Let's do that.
Well, listen, maybe we're all wrong about this, because recently there have been quite a few 10 out of 10 ratings that have been popping up on Metacritic. Users registering, making accounts just so they can leave a 10 out of 10 review for Balan Wonderworld. These are definitely legitimate. Let me read a few. This is from Nintendo Life. They had a whole funny article about this, but one user whose name is Larry Orr says, live this game as an adventure and you will be rewarded with the best platform ever. Another
best
user
platform ever.
Another user named Barif says, a really shiny experience to live for. Just have some good moments of fun with a nice platform.
Like, so these are either bots or they're Japanese people who were like, somebody was like, hey, let's go review bomb this in a good way. Let's bump it up because we love Sonic or we love the creators or whatever on some forum somewhere, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
Here's one from
or their bots.
Here's one from Notable, a 0 out of 10, saying, "Nice try bots, nice try bots, nice try bots, nice try bots."
Yeah, one of my favorites is from a user named Not Yuji Naka, who said, "This is a masterpiece unparalleled by anything else in industry. This really Wonderworld reminds me of playing second best game of all time, Shadow the Hedgehog."
I feel like this might be a 4chan thing. Some people trying to stack. Because here's another one, HKJH, 10 out of 10. This game is better than sex. Not that I know what sex feels like since I'm a 39 years old virgin, but I'm sure this game is better.
Yeah.
That's something I hadn't considered. Maybe it is just like one big joke.
Oh, I think so.
It
seems possible. I mean, I think at least some of these seem fake.
Some are.
They're just so stupid and silly. Some of them have to be made up.
Balan has a really huge dick, 10 out of 10.
No, you can't argue with that one, brother.
But when was that posted? Like, was it after the story broke or before the story?
That was from IGN.
This was posted on the 27th of March.
Okay.
Yeah.
IGN was like, the game may be bad, but credit where credit's due. Balan is hung.
Balan can lay pipe, baby.
My man Balan is packing heat.
He will snake your drain.
He is a pussy getting legend.
So, like, I don't know. Like, it probably is just one big joke. Like, it can't be like the company making its employees go and review it, right? Like, because it can't be that they're trying to recoup their losses. This game obviously costs like $15 to make. Like, I don't know.
It's hard to say. Yeah, I don't know how much of it could be bots being paid for by Square Enix or Yuji Naka, or how much of it is just people fucking around on the internet. Either way, it's very funny.
What's happening is, like, I'm just kind of deep diving into the user reviews, and it's like a war of attrition of people making accounts to either give it a 0 or a 10. Because there's people saying, garbage, fuck these bots. And then it's like, let's see, this game doesn't deserve all the hate that people throw at him. First, because they don't even try to play this game. And second, because they doesn't even know how much quality this game truly have. So I suggest you ignore all the childish and fake negative 0 review.
It's fake news. The bad reviews are fake news.
This is just another theater in the posting wars.
Yeah, another. Everyone will forget about the game, but the posts will live on forever.
The posting will never die. No, never log off. Never stop posting.
How is the game doing? Do you have any idea if it's selling well at all?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen those figures, but I can't imagine it's selling very well just based on the poor reviews.
No. Yeah, I can't either.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I think is even remotely interesting about this game would be like the visual aesthetic and the music. I think that's fairly solid. Some of the tunes are like after I played the demo, I was kind of humming a couple of the tunes. I think that part's solid, but unfortunately the gameplay just sucks dick really bad. It's so bad.
Like the you mentioned like the aesthetic. You liked the aesthetic? Like,
yeah. Like
I
the
just
graphics.
like the levels were so strange. Like how like there would be just the characters, really these static characters like dancing on walls.
Yeah,
and then
I
you
like
get
that.
near them and they would just sort of like phase out of existence. And you're like, it was just
I like
so
that.
weird.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. It's good.
It's good, and we've established I suck at video games. Maybe I just don't get it.
It's true, yeah. But Aaron didn't get it because he sucked at video games.
Didn't get it. I couldn't wrap my head around how the bad gameplay actually improves the game.
That's right, yeah. When you consider it from that angle, you'll see that actually you're wrong, and I'm right.
What the fuck? Here's what this last one, I promise. 11 out of 10, greatest game of all time. Also, welcome to the gaming industry, which is basically a greeting lying sack of filth. frowny face. 10 out of 10.
That was Yuji Naka. Definitely.
That was Yuji Naka. he's really got to get some shit off his chest.
he's poor fella. I want to give him a hug.
All right. Well, I didn't think we'd be talking about Balan Wonderworld again on this show, but here we are. And at this rate, maybe we'll talk about it again in the future.
It did not go quietly into that good night.
It sure didn't.
They're going down with the fight.
They're going down swinging.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think we should probably wrap it up there, fellas. What do you say?
Yeah. I think we did it. I think we did it, guys.
Well, folks, thanks for listening, and we'll be back in your podcast feeds very soon with another exciting episode of One Stage at a Time. Next time on the program, we'll be continuing Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and we will be playing through the level called Alchemy Laboratory. So please look forward to that. All right, Sam, what words of wisdom do you have for our listeners today?
I will continue my words of wisdom of saying, play the Monster Hunter Rise demo if you've never played a Monster Hunter. If you ever liked the Monster Hunter, just buy the goddamn game already. It's just good.
Buy the goddamn game.
Buy the goddamn game. Just buy the game anyways. It's good.
Just buy
It's a lot of fun.
Sam's spamming those Monster Hunter reviews.
Yeah.
Best game ever. My cat companion has the biggest dick in the world.
11 out of 10.
All right. Thank you, Sam. And Aaron, what would you like to say to the fine folks at home?
I want to say thank you for listening, everybody. We really appreciate your listens. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps us out. Please go to onestageatatime.com for more of our episodes and links to all of our things. And we love you. We love you all very much. Thank you for listening. Andy, give us that sign off, brother.
Save and continue.